right. So coming to that space that feels comfy to you here for a moment and a good stretch, and whatever that stretch may be for you. Maybe it's a long-legged stretch. Maybe you are rocking knees side to side. As you guys know, we tend to do a little bit more of counterbalancing in Pilates than you may have experienced in previous classes, just an opportunity to stretch. And just a few deep inhales and exhales, creating some space for breath today. And really in Pilates, we're focused on if we can hold our belly in, even on the inhale, an opportunity to breathe into that side body. When you're ready, just draw knees into your chest, and we're going to draw them in pretty darn tight. So we want to get that low back stretch. I'm going to make one adjustment here so I can see y'all just a little bit better. There we go. Oops. And then if you will, hang on behind your thighs, just kick legs up and down towards the ceiling. And then leave them up there, if you will, and flex and point your toes. So this flexing and pointing helps stretch the back of the legs and actually even the shins. Little ankle warm up here. And then we're going to bring our feet on down, arms reach overhead, and give your head a gentle shake. No, so we're going slow here. Opening up a little space in the arm structure, side body structure, and a little release of the neck. Any of what we do, if it bugs your neck, your head can always remain on the floor. You don't have to lift your head. Especially flexion in the neck is a little bit tricky. We're going to come on back through center. Arms are overhead, heels fairly close to your buns. We're not going to worry about peeling here. We're going to lift hips. We press hands down by your side. So we're in that little ramp. And then we're going to reach arms overhead and rest hips back down. So we'll exhale, belly draws in to that spine as hands come down by your side. And inhale, arms reach overhead. Now, anytime we've got those hips high, we're trying to keep our gaze on the ceiling. We're going to press hands down, lift hips. That just protects our neck. We're going to reach arms up and overhead. We're going to lift hips, press arms, just warming up hamstrings and glutes. And a little bit of shoulder mobility. Let's do two more of those. We're going to press hands, lift hips, and arms reach overhead. One more. Press hands, lift hips. Stay here if you will. We're going to pulse our hip bones up towards the ceiling. We're going to squeeze our buns. We're going to start to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and let those hips come down. We're going to draw knees back into the chest. We're going to kick legs back up again to stretch those hamstrings. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring knees into 90 degrees. I'm going to ask you to slide your hands underneath your buns. We want to work this first series here in a tuck just to warm up the front of the thighs. So remind yourselves 90-degree knees means that we've got our thighs perpendicular to the floor, shins parallel to the floor, and no arching in that back. We're going to lower one heel down to tap. And then we're going to slowly lift that heel back up or leg back up. We're going to hinge from the hip to lower the opposite heel down and lift. So imagine you had a cast on your knees. You couldn't bend your knees. We're going to lower to tap and lift. They stay in that 90 degree. That's what adds a little bit of weight to tax or work those low abs and lift back up. We're going to lower, tap, and lift. Lower, tap, and lift. So once we've got that motion, let's add in an emphasis of breath. We're going to inhale to lower, tap. We exhale, draw belly in to lift the leg back up. We inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, lift. Let's do one more set. Inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, lift. Last time. Inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, lift. We're going to leave the knees there. We're going to slide our hands out. Palms can face up or down. So here's where we might not go to the floor. So as we start to lower one heel, if it arches your back, we don't go all the way to the floor. We're gonna lift that leg back up. Inhale, lower. Now if this bugs your back, stay on the hands. Exhale, hands under the buns, always something you can do, especially if your thighs are feeling like they're getting burned up, or if your low back feels like it's punching. We're gonna lower to tap and lift back up. We're gonna do 3 more sets. We inhale, lower, and exhale, slowly lift. Inhale, lower, exhale. 2 more sets. Inhale, lower, and exhale. Inhale, lower. Exhale, last set. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lift. Let's take a break. Knees come in. If happy baby makes sense for you, that yoga pose where we're grabbing hold of inside or outside of the feet, go into happy baby, that relaxes our psoas. If that's tough because of hip structure, just knees into the chest. And on this happy baby, you might even rock and roll side to side, like be truly happy here. That little baby rocking and rolling when they found their feet finally. We're gonna bring our feet down to the floor, hands interlaced behind our head. Options here. So we're gonna stay lifted for a period of time. So if you need a break, take a break, bring the head back down. Otherwise, we're gonna fire the heck up out of these abs. When you're ready, we're gonna do 2 breath cycles. We're gonna exhale, lift head and shoulders, stay put at the top for your inhale. And then exhale, we're gonna lower back down. We're also paying attention to our sacrum. We're trying not to tuck. We're gonna exhale. So we glue that sacrum to the floor. We pause at the top for an inhale. Exhale, lower down. Another thing to add in here is to press your head into your hands. We're gonna exhale. If you press head into hands, we use less neck muscle. We'll pause and then exhale, lower back down. Pause at the bottom, exhale, lift. Pause at the top and exhale, lower back down. Deep inhale, exhale, lift. Belly's drawing in, no tailbone tucking. And then we're gonna lower head back down on your next exhale. Pause at the bottom. Exhale, lift. Just remember, breath is the last thing to come. So if you're on the opposite or it's just getting confusing, just breathe. Your body's gonna figure out how to do that. We're gonna exhale, lift. Pause here and exhale, lower back down. Pause, exhale, lift. Pause at the top. Exhale, lower back down. On this next one, we're gonna exhale, lift. Remind yourself there's an option not to have your head lifted. We're gonna do the opposite of what we did with the legs. We're gonna lift one leg up into tabletop, and then we lower it back down while your head is lifted. We're gonna exhale, doesn't matter which leg you pick, but stick with that side here, and then we're gonna lower it back down. 3 more on the side for 5, and lower. We're gonna exhale, lift, and lower. One more time. Exhale, lift, lower. See, if you pause here as the foot comes down, if you can lift a little bit higher. Did you lose any of your height? We're gonna switch legs. Exhale, lift, 90 degree. Inhale, lower, tap. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower, 2. Exhale. Inhale, lower, 3. Exhale. Inhale, lower, 4. One more time. Exhale. Inhale, lower, 5. Go ahead, lower your head. If you'll stretch those arms out into a T and give your head a rock side to side, we want to release that neck, a little counterbalancing here. Warming up that top layer, we're going to warm up now the side layer, those 2 layers, those obliques. Hands slide back behind the head, feet still on the floor. When you're ready, you're going to lift head and shoulders, look down at your thighs. Again, option to stay low. Lift one leg into tabletop. And then we're going to exhale, rotate an elbow as you draw that knee in towards that elbow. Inhale, the knee comes back into tabletop. We're going to exhale. Tabletop is 90-degree knee. Inhale, back through center. Exhale. Now, as we're exhaling, we're drawing our belly in as deep as we can get it. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, we're gonna do all 8 of these. Exhale, rotate. We're using all layers of the abs here. Exhale, rotate. Now as you're coming back through center, try not to lose any of your height. All those wrinkles, stay in your shirt one last time. We're gonna exhale, rotate. Come back through center, lower that leg. Don't lower the upper body, opposite leg lifts. Exhale, rotate. And inhale through center. Again, don't lose that height. Exhale. Staying lifted is what really works. That top layer, that rectus abdominis, our six pack, which we'll have at the end of class. We're gonna exhale and center. Exhale. Coming back through center. 3 more. Exhale, draw that knee in, and then back to 90 degrees. 2 more. Exhale. 1 more. Exhale. Hopefully we're getting warmed up here. We're gonna go ahead and lower head. We're gonna lower feet, drop knees over to one side. Doesn't matter which side. If you can, look over that opposite shoulder so you get a little stretch through the neck. We're just lengthening now. So we contracted all of that. We're giving an opportunity to stretch and lengthen. We'll come on back through center and opposite side. We drop knees over to that opposite side. Gaze goes over the opposite shoulder. So if I have my knees to the left, you're looking over the right. We'll come on back through center. Arms are comfortable for this next one. I'm gonna leave mine into a T just so you can see my back, but you might have hands down by your side, palms face up or down. Heels are gonna draw in a little bit closer to your buns. We're going into our pelvic curl. This is where we want our gaze to stay on the ceiling, especially when your hips are lifted. So on your exhale, draw your belly in, and that's gonna tilt your pelvis. We're gonna start to peel from the waistband to the middle back until the weight is between the shoulders, and then as you exhale, you melt back down from shoulders, mid-back, waistband, and then release to neutral pelvis. Deep inhale, exhale, we're gonna tuck, peel, and lift. So pay attention to those thighs. They try not to wander away from each other. They stay nice and parallel to each other. At the top, we keep those wrinkles in our shirt. So if you're a yoga person, we try not to arch the back. As we melt back down, hips hit, and we release. Deep inhale, exhale, tuck, peel, and lift. Taking our time here, and then we're gonna melt back down. So this is where I get just a bit mean. I'm gonna do an 8 counts. We don't reach the top until we get to that 8 count. We don't reach the bottom. So here we go. We're gonna tuck. We start to peel for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Pause at the top to get your inhale. As you exhale, you're gonna melt down for 8, 7, 6. Keep that tuck. 5, 4, 3, 2. Release to neutral pelvis. Deep inhale, exhale, tuck for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Pause at the top for 1. We melt down 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This next one, we stay up there. When you're ready, tuck, peel. Try to take your 8 seconds. That's going to make your buns and hamstrings work so much harder. We're going to pause at the top. Double check. We want our belly lower than our pelvis. We want our rib cage engaged, belly drawing in. We're going to exhale, press and squeeze your inner thighs to touch each other. Then release the squeeze. We're going to exhale, press, squeeze 2. Exhale, press, squeeze 3. This is where we start to feel our buns more. Exhale, squeeze 4. Now exhaling, drawing belly in every time. 5. Exhale, 6. Exhale, 7. One more time. We're also going to stay here. Press 8. Stay in pause. Recheck. Are you all engaged through those abs? We're going to lift our heels off and lower our heels down. Now we're sending hamstrings and calves and ankles straight. Lift heels off and lower down. Lift off and lower 3. Exhale, lift and lower 4. Exhale, lift and lower 5. Exhale, lift and lower 6. Exhale, lift, lower 7. Last time. Exhale, lift. Leave your heels off. See if you can melt back down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Anybody feeling our hamstrings at this point? Stretch one leg long to rest on your mat. Draw your other knee into your chest. We're going to passively stretch here for just a moment at the origin of your hamstrings. And then you probably know what's coming next, our hamstring pull one. Go ahead, switch legs. Opposite leg. Draws in. Now, most of today, I'm resting my head on a ball so I don't have to lift my neck, still protecting that back injury. You always have the option to keep the head on the floor. If you can, we're gonna stretch that leg up towards the ceiling. You're gonna lift head and shoulders to look down at your thighs. We're trying to find that connection again. I'm gonna ask you to flex both feet. We're gonna pulse here. You're gonna pulse one, draw in closer two, and switch sides. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. Pulse, pulse, switch. So we're trying to exhale as we're pulsing. When you switch, it's usually an inhale. Pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse. Let's do 3 more sets. Pulse, 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 pulse. Last set. Pulse, 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 pause. We're going to see if we can up it a notch. Keep your height. Hand slide behind the head. Hamstring pull 2 just for 5 counts here. Point your toes. We're going to pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, 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 pulse. 3 more. Pulse, 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 pulse. 2 more. Pulse, 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 pulse. Last set. Pulse, 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 pause. Both knees come in. Rest the head down. We're going to slide hands behind your thighs. Fling your feet overhead. Roll yourself on up to sit. We're going to do a little bit of seated here. If it's tough to be seated with a tall spine, bend your knees. Otherwise, we're going to stretch those legs, big toes come together. We're going to take our hands and just reach them behind us. So as we're reaching, thumbs down, tall spine, belly's drawing in, we're going to squeeze our triceps to lift our pinky to the ceiling and then release back down. So sitting tall, we're going to press and release 2. Even sitting tall, we're drawing belly in. We're doing some core work here for sure. Press, isolating a little bit of triceps. 4 more, press. 3 more, press. 2 more, press. On this next one, we're gonna press and stay there. We pulse for 8 counts. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A big sweep around. We're going to reach and rise up. We're going to do what we would typically do is called a rowing series on the reformer. And this is going to be some new choreography. So if it takes a few, just watch on the screen. Take your time. Join me when you're feeling like you're ready. So our arms are going to reach. On our exhale, our fists draw into our heart. We scoop to roll about halfway down. Once you're halfway down, you're going to reach your arms out to a T, thumbs down. We're going to dive forward. My hands reach behind me as I try to get my nose to my knees. I stay there. My arms reach wide out towards my toes. And then I articulate my spine up against an imaginary wall and sit nice and tall. So fists draw into heart. We scoop back just halfway, just till it feels like your feet want to lift. Let your abs shake a little. Thumbs reach out down T. Dive forward like you're pushing your way through a crowd. Hands reach behind you. Arms swing wide as you reach for toes. And then we restack our spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Hands come to heart. We scoop and roll back. Reach out T, thumbs down. Dive forward, hands reach behind you. Swing those arms around as they reach for toes. We rise back up, restack that spine. 2 more of these. Fists come to heart. Exhale, scoop. Inhale, arms T, thumbs down. Exhale, dive forward, hands swing behind you. Inhale, arms reach wide. Exhale, restack your spine. Last time, fists come to heart. Exhale, scoop. Arms will reach out, thumbs down, inhale. Exhale, dive forward, hands sweep behind you. Arms reach out wide, excuse me, and on your next exhale, restack your spine. We're gonna swing our hands behind us. Let your hands land with fingertips out to the side of your mat. Bend and soften knees. And then press into the palms of the hand to open your heart as wide as you can get it. Don't worry about holding abs in right now. So just a little counter stretch for all that folding forward. We're gonna go into reverse tabletop, which can be done right here with feet on the floor, doing exactly what we're doing. If you'd like to go into reverse tabletop, gather those abs, draw them in deep. We're gonna lift, and we're gonna keep our gaze down on our knees unless you've been practicing for a long period of time of letting your head drop back. This is a great stretch for the shoulders, also a little bit of core building here. And then on your exhale, come on down. We're gonna send our legs long, arms reach out. Here's everybody's favorite, we're rolling down. We're gonna scoop to roll all the way down. Let your arms reach overhead, get that good stretch. We're gonna roll up. So we lift head and shoulders. Exhale, start to roll up. Now, we know it's a hard one. Grab hold of those thighs if you need to. If it makes sense for your hamstrings, reach all the way for those toes. And then rise back up, like we're restacking that spine. We're gonna exhale, we scoop and roll back down. If this bugs your back, you can always bend and soften knees, soles of the feet stay on. So you're gonna see me do that because the back's still bugging me. We're gonna lift head and shoulders. Exhale, roll up. Extend through that spine to reach for toes. Restack. And roll back down. Good news is that's our last one, that way. Arms reach overhead. We're gonna lift head and shoulders. Exhale, roll up. All right, here come the hard ones. We're gonna cross your right ankle over the top of the left. So the key here is the closer your hands stay, I'm gonna pretend that's my right, the closer your hands stay to your body, easier it is. The further reach you get, the harder it is. We're gonna be sliding down and coming right back up the same side. All right, here we go. We're gonna exhale as we scoop or pretend we hang on to a ball here. Closer to the thighs, easier. Further away, harder. Once we get down, we're gonna reach our arms all the way overhead. We try not to use momentum as we roll over to that right shoulder. And exhale, roll up to reach for toes. Pause here. This is huge work for our abs. We're gonna exhale, scoop down that same side, right side down, shoulders open, arms sweep overhead, come back through center, exhale as you roll back up to reach for toes. Exhale, scoop, roll down. Now for most of us, this is our dominant side. So we're a little bit stronger on this side. We're gonna lift head and shoulders over to that right side and roll up without momentum. Reach for those toes. And this time just restack and switch your cross. This time we're going down to the left side. Arms reach over to that left. We start to scoop and roll down. We let arms reach all the way overhead. And then we go to that left shoulder, exhale, roll up. We reach for those toes, shoulders open. Let those shoulders melt away from your ears, and we roll back down. So in Pilates, we call those Pilates shoulders. In yoga, that's your mountain pose. We're trying to get those shoulders away from those ears. We rise up through that left side. Exhale, roll up. Pause as you reach for those toes. We're gonna exhale, scoop, and roll back down. Just one more, and then we're done with these roll-ups. We're gonna lift head and shoulders over to the right side. Exhale, roll up. Reach for your toes. We're gonna rise back up. We're gonna pause here. Go ahead and uncross your feet, a little bit more arm work. So I'm gonna have you bend your knees. We're gonna scoop back. So I'm in a C curve. I'm not in my teaser position, which is that straight spine. C curve here. And then we're gonna lift one leg up And the other leg follows. So what I'd like you to do here is really let the weight of your legs rest in your arms. So we're not using a whole lot of thighs, the only time we get to do this. And then we're gonna lean back in our scoop, and I'm gonna draw myself back up towards my thighs with my arms, so it's bicep work. We're gonna inhale back into that scoop, we roll over that sacrum. Exhale, now if this bugs your back, feet stay on the floor, just have a little less resistance for your biceps. We're gonna inhale back. Exhale, use those abs and arms to pull you back up. Inhale back. And exhale. Last time, inhale back. Exhale, come on up. Bring your feet down. Keep your scoop, arms reach. So we're still in our scoop. We're gonna inhale, reach our arms up towards the ceiling, gonna challenge those abs. Exhale, we bring pinkies down to touch mat. We're gonna inhale, reach arms, and exhale. Now that reach of the arms was what should really challenge those abs. We're gonna inhale, reach, and exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, consider more of a full body integration. 3 more. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, grab hold behind your thighs. We're gonna slowly start to roll our way back. We're gonna bring our knees into 90, hands hold on to those knees. Head is lifted, double leg stretch. We're gonna inhale, reach the arms, stretch the legs. Exhale, swing around and bend knees. Inhale, lengthen. Now, as you're lengthening, can you keep all of that height? Inhale, reach. Try not to let your upper body release. Exhale. Use the bottom of the shoulder blades as your marker. Try not to get into the middle of the shoulder blades. 4 more. Inhale, reach. And exhale. 3 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Draw your knees in. Rest your head. If you can, let those knees go back towards your underarms. A little psoas release here. Pardon me. One last set here. We're going to bring knees back into 90 degrees. Both hands come on top of one knee while you stretch the opposite leg. We're going to exhale to lift head, to look down at thigh, or leave head resting. We're going to switch and reach. Switch, reach. Switch, reach. Switch 2. Switch, reach. Switch 3. Switch, reach. Pause 4. You can stay here or make it a little more intense by bringing hands behind your head. Stay lifted as you switch, reach. Switch, reach. Switch, reach. Reach. 2 more sets. Reach. Reach. Last set. Reach. And pause. Draw knees in. Rest your head down. 1 more stretch here. Feet come to the floor. We're going to go a little bit deeper this time. We're going into twisted roots. So take your right thigh, cross it over the top of your left thigh, and then we're going to drop those knees over to the left. I hope I have that side right. Breathing fully here. A little deeper hip stretch before we go into our side series. Maybe give your head a little shake no, a little nod yes. We're going to switch sides. So coming back through center, opposite thigh crosses over, and then we drop over. I think we're on that left thigh on top. I'm trying to mirror you. We drop over to the right. Big deep inhales and exhales. Good stretch. 2, 4. That whole abdominal layers and layers of muscle we've just been working. We're going to come on back through center. We're going to get ready to do our side series. So if you're a pillow person, grab hold of pillow, placing underneath the head. We're going to stack the shoulders and stack the hips. Arm is your choice. So that top hand can be down on the floor. If you're working towards a little challenge for your torso, bring your elbow right on top of your rib cage. We try not to bring it too far back. We don't want our palm resting because that opens us up. Or you can reach that arm up towards the ceiling. We're going to warm up that top leg. So we're going to flex top foot, lifted hip height. And we're going to exhale to lift and lower. So our inner edge of our foot remains parallel to the floor. The inclination is for it to turn up, which becomes a lot of thigh work. We're going to exhale. We want it to be, it's still thigh, but the outer thigh. 4. Belly's drawn in. Exhale, 5. Exhale, 6. Exhale, 7. One more time. Exhale, 8. Leave it hip high. We're going to now turn it up towards the ceiling because we want to work that top thigh. Now we're going to exhale, lift. You can go as high as you like and inhale, lower, keeping toes aiming towards the ceiling. We're going to exhale, lift and inhale, lower. This is my favorite for a little hip mobility. We're going to exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Don't forget belly drawn in. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 4 more. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. 30. Exhale, lift. Working those glutes here as well. Exhale and lower. Last one. Exhale. We're going to lower it down. Go ahead, back to inner edge parallel to the floor. We're going to point our toes. This is where we're thinking about torso. No torso movement. Try not to wiggle. We're going to start our circles. Circles only go as big as you can maintain a non-wiggling torso. We're going to circle for 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Reverse your circle for 8, 7. Strong legs. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause and rest that leg down for a moment. We're going to go ahead, lift it back up, flex your foot. Bottom foot is going to flex as well. Bottom leg joins the top. We're going to lift and lower. Exhale. Now we try to keep that top leg as still as possible. Exhale, 3. And try not to push a ton through your arm on the floor. 4. That's my favorite way to cheat. 5. I find my shoulder really fired up. 6. Exhale, 7. One more time. Exhale, both legs lower. Take that top leg, give it a little stretch. That top leg can rest just like it is. You can rotate so sole of the foot comes down. We're going to work that bottom leg a little bit more. We flex the bottom foot. We're going to lift again and lower. Now, depending on where your leg is, you'll have more range of motion or less. So know that you might not be lifting quite as high. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. One more time. Exhale, lower down. We're going to bend both knees. We're just stretching here. No clam series. We're going to open our heart up towards the ceiling while both knees rest on the ground. And when you're ready, we're going to switch sides. So we're just going to roll on over to that other side. We do want to pick the same arm we use, or not same arm, but same position of the arm that we used on the other side. So as you're stacking hips and shoulders, if your hand was on, leave your hand on, elbow stacked or arm reaching. We're going to lift that top leg, inner edge of your foot, parallel to the floor as you flex that foot and we lift and lower. Paying attention, making sure that inner edge stays parallel. 2. Exhale. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Exhale. 6. Exhale. 7. Last one. Exhale. Pause at hip height. Now turn your toe up. We're going to kick it up as high as you like. We lower it back down. We keep the foot flexed the whole time. We're going to exhale, lift, and lower. 2. Exhale, lift, and lower. 3. Exhale. lower 4. You're still pulling belly in. Exhale, lower 5. Exhale, lower 6. Exhale, 7. One more time. Exhale, we lower. Go ahead and point your toes. Try not to wiggle your torso as we circle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Reverse your circle. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Pause on 1, lower down, give it a quick break. Flex that top foot, lift it hip height. Flex your bottom foot, bottom leg's gonna lift and lower. Exhale, 2, top leg stays very stable, more stable than mine looked there. 3, exhale, 4, exhale, 5, exhale, 6, exhale, 7. One more time. Exhale, go ahead, lower leg, top leg either bends in here to find that stretch. You can place that foot on the floor. We're going to work that bottom leg for one more series here. So when you're ready, we're going to exhale, lift bottom leg and lower. Flex that foot to get some length and activation through that leg. 2, exhale, 3, exhale, 4, exhale, 5, exhale, 6, exhale, 7, last one, exhale, 8. Go ahead, bend both knees. Open that heart up towards the ceiling, get that nice twist. I do want to stretch that a little bit before we move into back bending. So I'm going to ask you to come to rest on your back. We're going to do that old school number 4 stretch. So take an ankle, cross it over the opposite thigh. We'll interlace fingers behind that opposite thigh and draw knees into chest. So just stretching that whole area. A few of you actually might stack one knee on top of the other, so it looks like our little shoelace pose. We grab hold of the ankles and pull those ankles out towards the side. It's really about hip structure here. So if you have more of what I call that latte coffee cup lid, stacked knees, it's going to get you a little deeper stretch than number 4. Now, if you're more like a regular coffee cup or an espresso cup around that rim, you want to stay in your number 4. Go ahead, switch sides. So either crossing ankle over or stacking knees to draw in. Deep inhales and exhales here. And when you're ready, we're going to go ahead, stretch those legs long. We're going to roll over to our bellies and get ready for a little back bending. We're going to stretch first because that tends this whole top area of your shoulders starts to get a little bit tight. And there's 2 ways to think about stretching. So if you like this sort of what I call those spider arms where we're rotating, we do this one in yoga a lot. Our fingers can come high or low. They can go wide. Then you can start to rotate. It might serve you better to simply pick a cheek to rest on. The same arm comes behind your low back and you let the elbow drop towards the floor. So one is an active stretch and one is a passive stretch. So again, deciding what works for you here and give yourself a little time to explore that search. This area tends to be quite tight just because of what we're doing all day long. If we're on our phones, even if we're reading a book, and of course, if we're working at a computer screen. We'll do a couple more or switching sides, resting with that arm behind the back. And when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to stack hands, slide them underneath your head, and we're going to do a little traction for your neck. Let me get my hair out of the way. So the idea here is as my head is resting, I'm going to tuck my chin in a little bit closer to my collarbones. And then I'm just pressing my forehead into my hands. I'm going to do that press for 3 seconds. And then I'm going to release. Let's do it 2 more times. Press head into hands for 3, 2, 1, and release. One more time. Press head into hands for 3, 2, 1, and release. Give your head a little shake. No, we're going to work a little bit more of the back of our thigh and bun to see if we can activate those particular muscles before we go into our back bending. So I'm going to ask you to lift and lengthen one leg. And you'll notice my foot doesn't come very far off. I'm more emphasizing how I could reach my toe to the end of the mat versus how high I can get my leg. Draw your belly away from the mat, and you're going to squeeze the heck out of that bun to lift the leg a little bit higher and release the squeeze. We're going to exhale, head is resting, and lower 2. So look for that straight leg. Straight leg is important. If the knee is bent, we're not hitting as much of that hamstring. We're going to squeeze. 4. I think that's 4. We're going to squeeze. It might be 3. We're going to squeeze. 2 more. Squeeze. Last one. Squeeze. Lower that leg down. Give that leg a good little wiggle. And we're going to switch sides. Opposite leg lengthens. When you're ready, squeeze the bum cheek and release. Squeeze. 2. Squeeze. 3. Squeeze. 4. Squeeze. 5. Squeeze. 6. 2 more. Straight leg. Squeeze. 7. 1 more. Squeeze. Lower 8. Give it a good wiggle. Let's slide hands down by your side. Our feet are fairly close, and this time our feet are going to stay on the floor. So you're going to press the tops of those feet in. My head is just hovering above the mat. The point of my nose is towards my mat in order to keep my neck neutral. Let your arms then hover. Whole arm lengthens as if you were bringing your thumbs right by the seams of your pants. We're going to inhale to lift over your mid-back and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower 2. Inhale, exhale, 3. Inhale, exhale, 4. Inhale, exhale, 5. Inhale, exhale, 6. We know this one isn't about height. Inhale, so don't worry about how high you're getting. 7. Last time, inhale. 8. Take your arms, and you can either reach them above the head with shoulders out of the ears, a little more challenging, or a little nicer on those collarbone areas is to bring your arms, elbows out into your 90-degree elbows. We're going to go into super slow swim. So think about how long we got that leg. We're going to lift. I'm going to lift my right arm and opposite leg, left leg. You can start on the other side and lower down. And then we're going to switch sides. So I lift my left arm, right leg, and lower. Inhale, lift, and we continue to alternate sides. And exhale. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Nice neutral neck. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Inhale, lift. You guys are going to continue. I'm resting here. 3 more sets. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale. Go ahead, pause here for a moment. Decide how you would like to relax the back. You might stack the hands, rest the head, feet go wide. Or you might stretch that back a little more actively in child's pose. So pick in where you want to be here to release that back. We're going to take 5 full deep inhales and exhales here. We'll all meet back on our bellies. And I'm going to ask you to slide your hands down by your underarms. So think about where your thumbs would come right out of your underarms. And this is a lot like our chaturanga. So if you're a chaturanga person, this is kind of the space that we're in for arms. We're going to tuck our elbows into our rib cage and see if you can draw your shoulders away from your ears. And you may have to do the opposite. You might let them rotate towards the floor and pull back. We're going to lift both legs, and then we're going to press through those hands to find our lift. So we have quite a lot of weight in our palms here. We're going to start to kick the feet as if we're swimming. So we have those straight legs again, elbows tucked in, and we're kicking. Now, to increase the challenge, you can pull weight out of your palms, but keep your height, or have no palms at all. If that's a little too intense as you're kicking here, leave your palms on, shoulders melt down. We're gonna pause, tuck your toes under. We're gonna rise up into a plank, and that might look a lot of different ways. I'm gonna come up first through my upper body, my knees, and then I'm gonna come into my plank position. For anybody where plank is challenging, leave your knees on. Tuck your tailbone, belly draws in, soften your elbows, and pause here. So I went from straight elbows to nice soft elbows. Drawing belly in, and again, you can be down on knees. We're firing up a ton of arm muscle, a ton of core muscle. And then I'm gonna ask everybody to shift back into your down dog. So it's a little release through those shoulders. We're gonna dive forward again. Plank position or knees, soften elbows. Everybody then comes down to knees. We're gonna press back one more time in child's pose. This time, if you can, hands come down by your side. We're gonna have some options for our next move here. So you may just wanna keep your eye on the screen to see where we can go with this. So you can go into plank, into side plank, where I turn my toes and reach my arm. That might be quite intense. So you might be down on knees. I'm gonna turn away from you so you can see what my leg is doing. The knee that stays on, the foot rotates, the arm lengthens, and so does that top leg. The choice is yours. We're gonna hold each side for 3 breaths. You'll switch sides, and then we'll all meet back in child's pose. If you hate this one, leave it out and hang out in child's pose. So moving through as you choose, either knee on with that stretch, or full plank, full side plank, I should say. If you use your core in this, it makes it so much easier on your arms. So make sure you're engaging that belly. After you've held both sides for 3 breaths, let yourself come back into child's pose. Big arm strengthener there. And a full body integration, nice job. 2 more breaths. We're gonna come to a seated position. We're gonna have a little fun here, a little spinal massage. I'm gonna give you 2 choices today because I know seal sometimes is a little bit tricky. So if you like rolling like a ball and feet are off, we keep our heels same distance, we roll back, head doesn't touch, we come back up to balance. If you wanna do seal, soles of feet together, knees drop out, hands dive inside your diamond to grab hold of your ankles. We find our balance, and this is where we clap like a seal. 1, 2, 3. You roll back, 1, 2, 3. Roll forward, 1, 2, 3. So it is up to you. We'd like you to do 4 of either rolling like a ball or seal puppy. When you're back in seal puppy, you're trying to balance on those shoulders without the head touching. If this doesn't make you smile today, I don't know what will. We always feel a little bit silly in this one. When you've done your 4, We're gonna bring the soles of feet together, let yourself round forward. If soles of feet together, butterfly is tricky, just bend your knees and round yourself forward. We'll come on up to sit tall, and we're gonna stretch shoulders a little bit extra today. So sit comfortable, whatever that may be for you. We're gonna take your right hand and slide it behind your back. So that's gonna roll your shoulder forward. We're then gonna take your left ear over to your left shoulder. And we're gonna pause here for a second. If this is okay for you, we're gonna take your left hand and we're just gonna run it right along that sternocleidomastoid. It goes from your ear to your collarbone. It's that big muscle that we see often when we're talking or turning our head. Now, just a slight little massage encourages that muscle to lengthen. We have used that muscle a lot when we're lifting our head in Pilates. The hand behind the back is releasing the shoulder, especially the muscle that holds the shoulder blade to your back. And then let that hand drop down. Give a good gaze down towards your left shoulder. So a little bit of scalene stretch here. This is a great one to do anytime during the day if you're feeling really tight through the neck and the top ridge of the shoulder, or if you get that tension that's right in that mid back between your shoulder blades. Let's rise up and pause here for a second. Just notice how that side of the neck feels compared to the other. And then we're gonna switch. Left hand slides behind. First thing we do is right ear comes to right shoulder. Take our right hand and trace that muscle from the ear down to the collarbone. These can get trigger points that then refer pain to the shoulders, all kinds of places actually. Back of the skull, sometimes middle of the chest. And then when you're done there with running that sternocleidomastoid, look down at your right shoulder. We're gonna rise back up, switch to crossing your legs because that just makes your brain work harder. It's a Monday, maybe we gotta have a little brain power today. Lean into the right palm. So I'm gonna bend in. I'm trying to keep my opposite hip on. So if it lifts your hip, you wanna keep a little straighter arm. Once I'm leaning in, I'm gonna let my head drop over, and if it makes sense, the arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Might make more sense for your hand to slide behind your back. So just noticing how this feels through the neck, through that side body. You might even get all the way down to the elbow as long as the hip stays on. And we're gonna rise back up and switch sides. That arm reaching is your choice. And then we're gonna come back up. I almost said slide back up. We're gonna come back up, a gentle twist in one direction. If you can, let your gaze go over your shoulder. We'll come on back through center and twist opposite direction. Come on back through center and some big exaggerated shoulder rolls in one direction. And then switching to the other direction.